Hey everybody, Johan Magnusson here, Big Swede Barbecue, and today we're making an amazing Chilean Seabass with a saffron risotto. You want to start by pouring 2 liters of seafood broth into a saute pan, and then you want to heat it up over high heat. When the broth is simmering, you want to add a teaspoon of saffron threads, and then you want to keep the seafood broth warm while you're cooking the risotto. Next, it's time to place a couple of tablespoons of butter in another saute pan, and then you want to sweat a finely chopped shallot. You want to cook it until fragrant and beginning to soften. Now it's time to toast the arborio rice, so add about 2 cups to the pan and stir until every grain is coated with butter. You want to make sure that you avoid actually browning the rice here. You only need to toast it. Then we're going to deglaze the pan with about a cup of white wine, and we're also going to lower the temperature to medium. Now you want to stir constantly until the wine has completely reduced and the pan is nearly dry. I like saffron, so this is a good time to add another teaspoon of saffron threads as well. Also make sure that you pour yourself a glass of white wine that you have left in the bottle to stay hydrated. Now it's time to begin incrementally adding the broth, about half a cup at a time, stirring regularly between the additions. Wait until the liquid is almost completely absorbed by the rice before adding the next ladle. You want to continue adding broth until the rice is al dente and the broth is creamy. Now while we're waiting for the risotto to get ready, it's time to start working on the fish. You want to set your pellet grill to 325 degrees and insert a cast iron pan. When the cast iron pan is hot, you want to add 16 tablespoons of butter, and we're also going to add about 2 tablespoons of our Big Swede Barbecue Badass seafood. Next, it's time to season our Chilean Seabass with a little bit more of the Badass seafood. When the butter has melted, it's time to place the Chilean Seabass fillet into the pan. And then you want to cook the Chilean Seabass until they reach an inner temperature of 160 degrees. You want to make sure that every 5 minutes or so you baste the Chilean Seabass fillets with butter. When the sea bass fillets are almost done, you want to slice up a lemon into thin slices and place lemon slices on top of the sea bass as well. And you want to make sure that you keep basting a couple of more times. When the sea bass fillets are ready, it's time to remove them from the grill. The last thing that we want to do is finish the risotto. So when it starts to get creamy, you want to add 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese and stir thoroughly. And last but not least, we want to add a little bit of pepper. You don't really have to salt it because the Parmesan is pretty salty in itself. Then it's time to plate it, and you want to start with a couple of scoops of the saffron risotto. Then carefully place the fillet on top, and then finally top it with a couple of broccoli sprouts, and then it's ready to serve. And that is how I make a Chilean sea bass with a saffron risotto. And I think the only thing left is to try this and see what it tastes like. So here we go. Come on. That is so good. I really hope you try it at home. Happy grilling.